every day with you made me feel brand new. Lately I felt broken and askew. Take my hand, I'll repair and pull through. Lately I felt broken and askew. But every day with you made me feel brand new. A robot's remedy. The love brought clarity. A robot's remedy. And so endlessly. A robot's remedy. The love brought clarity. How do I spell defeat? To be honest, I'd just rather not spell it or yell it.
I'm ready to help them out.
Over and over again.
One last time.
Disappointment does not spell defeat. I'll land on my feet. Disappointment does not spell defeat. I'll land on my feet. So I'm ready to help them now. One last time, rapid climb. I'm ready, so ask me how. One more time, it's showtime. It's lifetime, full time, meantime. One time turns into part time, pastime, quick time. Clock goes fast, I'm out of time. In downtime, get up time, better find my way. My way home.
Are you prepared for your journey?
My way home. A robot's remedy. The love brought clarity. A robot's remedy.
What if you're okay?
And so endlessly.
No one could ever replace you.
Lately I felt broken and askew. But every day with you made me feel brand new.
Jeez.
Lately I felt broken and askew. Take my hand, I'll repair and pull through. Lately I felt broken and askew. But every day with you made me feel brand new.
Tell them I'm sorry I couldn't fix everything or make their lives better, but every day with them made me feel brand new.
Until we accept reality, we can't make any progress.
Mrs. McClellan, which poem would you like this evening? Since you expressed no preference, I shall select a poem at random. Sir Teasdale, as I recall, your favorite. Oh, there will come soft rains and the smell of ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and frogs in their pool singing at night, and wild plum trees in tremulous white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, whistling their whims on a low fence wire, and not one will know of the war, not one will care at last when it is done. Mrs. McClellan, Mrs. McClellan. There will come soft rains and the smell of ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and frogs in the pool singing at night, and wild plum trees in tremulous white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, whistling their whims on a low fence wire. Not one would mind, neither bird nor tree, if mankind perished utterly. Oh, there will come soft rains and the smell of ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and spring herself when she woke at dawn would scarcely know that we were gone. We were gone. It is done. There. Hello. Welcome. How's everybody doing? Dude, Robot Pog, no doubt. Oh, I missed you too, Nick. Frig. Thank you. Yeah, that little Robot Pog is from a streamer I found this past week. He goes by the name of Crafted Robot, I believe. And he's a really cool guy.
Yeah, I've been a fan of his stuff. Been kind of following what he's been doing lately. He plays video games, and his whole spiel is that he, is a robot, a crafted one, in fact. Which is good stuff. Figured I'd plug him since I utilized his emote. But heck yeah, welcome to space. Well, hang on, we're almost in space. Now we're in space. So I had to bring up that good old ambience, you know. Who is this? Do you mean crafty? Crafted robot? Yeah, I thought I explained it quite well. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Gotcha. Heck yeah, welcome to space. Skippy and I are here today. Coleman, I know you probably missed Skippy this whole time, but luckily, I came up here and found that Skippy is safe. Skippy is good to go. He actually was well fed and cared for, thankfully. The janitor, I think I've mentioned him before. Jim Bob, one of those two. He found the cat in my quarters, with the jar on his head. Told me he didn't know how to get the jar off, but he's an intuitive fella. So he was able to, put the food and water up in there so that Skippy could live, which is good stuff. And now both of us are back here in space and ready to read some SCPs and some sci-fi short stories. This is me. This is real. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is Mitch. Anyways, regardless, how's everybody doing? I hope your Sunday has been going super pleasantly. Hey, what's poppin', Omni Wailord? What's shimmin' and shammin'? So I told him this is Mitch. Wait a second, are you Mitch? If you're Mitch, then who am I? Oh no. Why do I look like an anime character right now? Because I'm in space. And I don't know, anime's cool. I am anime Mitch. Or if I could go with like the classic anime protagonist. All right, are you guys ready? We're about to dive into some sci-fi short stories. And if I believe in myself enough, I think I can read them with my eyes. But only if I have your guys' support. これはMichu desu. これはMichu desu. Say, with our friends, we can't lose. With our friends, we can't lose. Heck yeah. It's true. I mean, you guys are my friends, and since I got you here, I can do all this. I can be can be in space and read at the same time. Pretty freaking epic, don't you think? It actually sounded like an anime character. Good VA GIF autograph. Yeah, sure. Just hand it through. Hand the book through the screen. Be happy to. You're not what? I'm not friends with you guys. I totally missed that. I don't know. They do like 1,000 announcements a day, dude. Up in this space station. I don't even know. Like, there could be something like terrible going on. I probably wouldn't even know. Like they put. Oh, dude, Omni, thank you so much for the donation, dude. Oh, and Carol, I get you now. I get you. But man, Omni, dude, you've been my biggest supporter financially so far, and I'm immensely grateful. Yeah, no, all jokes aside, thank you so much. Um, you broke your monitor with the book? Oh no. You see, if I broke my monitor with a book, I would have trouble with reading and being in space at the same time. But man, shoot, look at that. Up there, Omni Whale Lord's up there twice. Right up there. Thank you for the $5, dude. Yeah, it means so much. I've been reading a really excellent book recently. Do tell, do tell. What is this literature that you've been eyeing? Is it and what genre? It's called Oranges Aren't the Only Fruit. That sounds lovely. What's it about? I mean, it's true. The first line of the book is a true statement. I cannot figure out how to donate through Twitch. I think I'm dumb. Also, that book is great. Hey, Kara has read it. The Nightlight herself. I believe there's like a little button down below. It'll take you to a website. That is my website. My domain at least. And you can plug in a number and hook up your card. And I think that's how it works. Dude, my Premiere Pro is throwing freaking notifications at me. My bad. Yeah. PayPal normally works best. But Nightlight, if you wanted to. What? Freaking heck. Thank you, Toko, you. You didn't have to, but you did. Nani? Frick. I had to prove dominance. Yeah, guys, and honestly, like, it means so much. Like, I'm not an affiliate yet, so you know, there's no way to subscribe. So one of the best ways you can support is through that donate button. Thank you so much. Oh, frick. Didn't donate $5. Excuse me. Donated 501. Heck yeah, dude. That extra cent goes a long way, I promise. Oh, heck yeah, guys. To give you a little idea of how my day was, I woke up. I got my day going. I wound up hanging out for a little bit, you know, working on some music, getting my song prepped and ready for recording vocals. Then I went to a gas station, got myself like some water. Actually, this water in specific. In exact terms. And I was stopped by like a lady who said she needed money for bus fare, so I gave her $5. I hope and pray that it was actually put towards a good thing. But you know, it's once it's in her hands, it's for her to do with what she will. So that was a good thing today. I got back, worked on the song. It's the song for the Lost Sun Archives. If any of you were here on Thursday, you know that we're starting to do some D&D stuff, and I wanted to create a little like theme song for it, as I have a theme song for this night as well. Are you gonna make a sun for the mech thing? Am I going to craft a sun? I mean, listen, I do know a guy who like, you know, makes suns, but it's an expensive process. And oh, I know, I'm sorry. I'm just joshing. Yeah, no, I do plan to make a song for Lancers too. But one of the reasons why I waited till the first episode of Lost Sun's Archives was so that I could get a better idea of our characters and what the world is like, so that the song kind of reflects that. Where's the Xenoblade remix you promised me? Yo, Rockman X, thanks so much for freaking stopping by, dude. I'm pretty swamped with like music projects, which is not a bad thing. In fact, it's an incredible thing. I've been more inspired to make music recently than I have been in a long time, and it's due to part due to this stream here. Whenever there's a solid reason, like a good reason for me to be doing it, or if there's a purpose for it, it helps. It helps like bring on that creative zone. Let's see. I'd love to learn to stream. It would be funny if you just used the Lost Sun Archives theme song for Lancer. I just like digitize it. That'd be interesting. I would say like if in the Lancer's lore the sun had also gone out, or there was like some kind of thing with that, might work. But I don't know. I wanna do them separate. But I'm not sure how to set it up. Well, heck, man. Honestly, like any like webcam tends to work. It's pretty good to have a fairly beefy computer. Nothing like crazy, like beefy. But I imagine it would still work with like a laptop too. But yeah, my best advice to get into it is like watch a couple of like the bunches and bunches of YouTube videos on how to start up a stream. I know. I think the guy I watched was. Let me see if I can find it real quick. How to start streaming on Twitch. I think it ought to be one of the first ones. Yeah, this guy called Alpha Gaming. That's the one I watched, but like I said, there's a bunch of other ones where streamers with far more experience than I have covered that topic in full. But I think one of the best advice that I've heard from other streamers is just, start when you want to start, and try not to let like financial stuff or anything like that stop you. And my advice on top of that is simply to, once you get your stream started, don't worry about it being perfect, because the good thing about streaming is that it can improve as you go. It being like a live format, I think that's part of the beauty of it, is that like as each stream progresses, I learn more and more, and I add different things. Like for instance, the first Sci Fi Saturday had my normal layout, like the one layout that I had for like for the Percy Jackson streams. It was the same layout for each one, but I decided to fancy it up a little bit. Sorry, let me catch up with the stream. Or with the chat. I will personally destroy the sun in Lancer just for you. Dude, thank you. That would... Dude, all it sounds like is... I cannot... Dude. Because they put the announcement, like, dealio right outside my room, but it's through, like, a thick thing of, like, steel wall. I cannot hear it. And I'm not gonna like step outside my quarters every 5 seconds. Anyways, I started streaming Animal Crossing just for my friend who lives in California, Lamau. He likes to watch me terraform. Heck yeah. And can we talk about how they milked the Percy Jackson series to hell? Yeah, dude, we can. In fact, Coleman, Cramples and I are gonna be watching the 2 Percy Jackson movies, and I'm gonna start work like this week, and I'll be able to start work on a review of those two movies. Can we get a room tour? Mitch, you can't say that word. Shoot, did I say the CR word? It's funny because I'm allowed to say, I have a cramp in my leg. But if I say, let's crample it up, homies, I'm banned instantly. In fact, now I'm banned. Frick. Guys, I'm sorry. they still making books on it. Yeah. Wait, they still have books going in the series? I thought they stopped at the Heroes of Olympus. Yeah, I'm with you, Toko. You, what the heck? I know they have 5 in the original Percy Jackson series, and I thought there were 3 in the Heroes of Olympus, and then they stopped with that. They have like milked the whole like demigod idea, though. Rick Riordan has milked the demigod idea because he's been creating like new series that are kind of a similar idea, just with a different mythology. The one with the Egyptian gods, the one with the Norse gods, etc., etc. Yeah, they moved on to Egyptians. Percy Jackson movies suck. I agree wholeheartedly, Omni. Oh, they added more to Heroes of Olympus. I know that. Isn't House of Hades the 4th? Frick, they probably did come out with 5, didn't they? Oh, they put my boy Percy in all those books. Dude, I have seen some shite films in my life. Dude. It is if we don't see the shit ones, then it's harder to appreciate the beautiful ones. Like the kind of bad where it's almost unwatchable. Oh gosh. I know the kind of bad that makes it funny. But it's so bad it's almost unwatchable. I gotta think if there are any movies like that for me. Yeah. I'd say like I've never watched it, but I imagine Food Fight would be one. Would probably be one of those for me. I haven't watched it and I don't intend to. You guys know Food Fight? JonTron like did a review on it a while back. The Cats movie. I didn't bother. I didn't bother with that one. Films titled things like Terror at Bloodfart Lake or Crazy Fat Ethel 2. You've seen Food Fight? No. My poor man. My poor person. Why have you done this to yourself? The Last Airbender film is not so good. I didn't bother with it. That's one that, I don't know. No. I'd probably like start it and then just be like, what am I doing? Dude, there's a 30-minute scene at the end of the film where it's just one big food fight, 30 minutes long. Not exaggerating. Yeah, that's the part where they all like pop up from the tops of the buildings and just start throwing food at each other. And the audio for that part is unbelievable, dude. It's so chaotic. 30 minutes of nothing, and yet so much at the same time. The movie is called Food Fight. Duh. Was baked as fuck watching. Well, hey, that may be the only way to get through it. I don't blame you, at least. Yeah, dude. I doubt it. I too was baked as fuck, but it was when I watched what's that movie with like the hot dogs that are horny? You know what I'm talking about, right? The name isn't coming to me. Yeah, Sausage Party. That one is okay, but like if I went back to watch it now, I don't know if I'd make it through. Yes. Yes. The horny hot dogs. I like the idea that was said fondly and dreamily. Yes. The horny hot dogs. Sausage Party is a nightmare. And the worst thing about it is Sausage Party was a nightmare for the animators who made it as well. That's what gets me most. Yeah, dude, it was not all that great. You have a theory. Well, have at it. Have at it. I like to imagine the animators crying as they made it, wiping their tears with American cheese slices. if we didn't know about the Sonic redesign, people would have hated the Sonic movie. We did. I was one of them. I agree, Cramp. I was too. Dude, the animators crying as they made it. That'd be terrible, man. That'd be so bad. Yeah, I didn't bother with the Sonic movie either. You know one that was like that, but I actually enjoyed? Detective Pikachu. I liked it, dude. It was like, it was friggin' wholesome. Brought back nostalgia. It was nice. Bro, what? Sonic movie was good? Alright, boys, settle down. Settle down. Yeah, it seemed like it. I would say, I mean, there's probably some redeeming qualities to it, right? No thing is fully bad or fully good. It's gotta have some good parts to it. It was the most basic, uninteresting buddy cop shite. Fight me to the death. Alright, 3, 2, 1, fight! And go. You have to throw bonks into the chat. Whoever puts the most bonks wins. Type your bonks. I think it was legit better than Detective Pikachu. Huh. Well, Tokoyu takes a staggering lead. No, I'm just kidding, Tokoyu. Detective Pikachu kind of sucked as well. I mean, I won't say that. Shoot, dude. The radiation shield isn't complete in this section? No wonder my... No, never mind, sorry. That's a TMI. It has to do with the radiation, though. It explains a lot. Anyways. Boink. I'm not in the fight, but bonk. Go night. Go nightlight. You hate most movies you watch. Shoot, dude. I don't know. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that just kind of stinks. That would, like, deter me from watching movies, most likely. I'm the generic film student who hates everything. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I understand that, dude. And it kind of stinks because after film school, a couple of things are ruined about film. Would you agree, Nightlight? You know, it's one of those, like, once you know, you can never unknow. Or once you have, like, the perspective of a film student, you can never go back. The Mario Bros. Movie is okay. Hey, Luigi. It seems like Omni Waylord actually likes our film. Gotcha. You disagree? Actually, I'm glad you disagree. Heck, rethinking my thought process there never was a poor choice of words. I don't think it applies at all schools, but absolutely at a conservatory. I could see that. I could see that. I think it gives you a real critical eye for things. It helps me realize why I like things. That's a good outlook on it, dude. Yeah, whenever we can get more critical, it helps to pick out the things that we truly like. I'm a very simple man. I see Foony Blue Hedgehog go meow. I like it. I do film studies at university. Fucking same, Toko you. I mean, that's a beautiful thing too, man. I find it important to let myself enjoy those things. You know? You see funny blue hedgehog go meow. I say, ha ha, it is very good. Well, no, I don't know if I go that far, Toko you. Yeah. Art. Like my performance at the start there. My favorite director is Darren Aronofsky. I believe I've heard of him. I I am. Toko, you're right. I've never looked at it that way before, but I am the funny blue hedgehog man. Dude, hang on. I gotta call my mom. I did it. I finally did it. You did Black Swan, The Wrestler, Mother. Sick, dude. I've heard those films are incredible. I haven't actually seen them though. Sadly. Those would be good ones to watch though, I have no doubt. I like his movie because they go boom. Oh, Michael Bay. Oh, Michael Bay. Yeah. But it falls into that, like, kind of that similar idea of sometimes it's important to just let yourself like those things, you know? To just sink into, like, the general public and just be a normal dude for a bit and enjoy some explosions. It's some good stuff. It can be wholesome. Yeah, like I said, there are still some good things to them. Yeah, big money. Big money. Escapism has its place. True. True. All entertainment is escapist by nature. Yeah, even edutainment. I guess even edutainment, right? I don't know. I feel like it depends on your approach to it, right? It only becomes escapism if you go into watching something or attending to some media with the intention to escape, right? I don't know. I feel like that may be like a from the person's perspective thing. That's an interesting debate though. I'm not entirely sure which way is correct. There probably isn't a clear line there. A clear line to be drawn. Because media cannot reflect your view on something. It's about viewing something from another perspective, escaping your view of the world. Huh. But it's still your view, right? Even if I'm watching something, it's my view of a different view. Which if I'm able to forget my own view, then I think that becomes escapism, right? But if I stay aware of my own view, then it no longer becomes that, right? It's exposing yourself to another person's view. Nice, dude. Omni, you a big brain, dude. But if you still hold on to your view, is it escaping? Look, audience theory ain't my strongest area. No, it's okay, dude. I mean, I said it myself as well. I don't know if there's a... In fact, I'm pretty sure that there isn't a clear line to be drawn in the sand here. Just an interesting discussion. My strongest area is my thighs. I can deadlift like a bunch. Dude, could you deadlift me? Whenever I come to visit, dude, I want you to deadlift me. Give me genre theory or film theory any day. Or film history any day. Heck yeah, dude. I don't know much about genre theory or film history. I did learn a little bit about film, though, when I was at film school for a year. Not nearly as experienced, though. Which is why I appreciate having you guys here. Alright, dude. On my way. Just gotta hop into the escape pod. Normally that goes, like, all the way down. I think it got jammed. Normally I'm meant to, like, sink fully and then go into my space pod. Toko, you may have to wait. It's, you know, it's jammed. What can I say? Have any of y'all seen Synodosh, New York? Am I saying that right? Synecdoche? Synecdoche. Synecdouche. Snake douche. Snake douche? I have no idea how to say that. Synecdoche? Oh, Synecdoche. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, dude, it's weird that a CHE can either be like a shush sound, a key sound, or a ch sound. Weird stuff. The English language is a curious thing. Oh. Oh, dang. Okay, it's getting dark out, guys. I need to jump to a break here, because I need to go put the chickens up. So I will be back. I think I'll go make some tea as well. But this was really cool. Thanks so much for, like, being so engaging at the start here. That was freaking cool. Yes, chickens. And before you ask, yes, space chickens. My roommates do. They're out of town this week, so I'm in charge of the chickens. Charge of the chickens. Are you from Space, Wyoming? Yes. Yes. The settlement, yeah, the settlement mainly came from Wyoming. I did not, though. Came from a different part of the land. Bring the chicken to the stream. I would like to, but the rooster would have a fit and peck out my eyes. Space chickens are, like, even stronger and scarier than normal chickens, so sorry, dudes. I'll try to see if I can find my cat, though. Or, sorry, my cat. My roommate's cats. What state are you from, if you don't mind saying? NC. North Carolina. Norton Carolina. I'm in a state of constant fear, dude. Alright, guys. I'm gonna try to get out there before I lose all light. Yeah, I do. Yeah, we met, I think a year or two ago now. Known him for quite a while. Met him in person first, before we started doing things online. Okay, guys, for real. I gotta go to break, but, we'll be back. I'll give myself about 15 minutes. So expect me back by 9:05, okay? 5 past the hour, I'll be back. Enjoy some jams while I'm away. Or I won't be able to control the jams. So I guess I'm just gonna let my... Yeah, I'm just gonna let my, like... my SoundCloud page roll. There may be some repeated things because, I put, like, various drafts of them up there. But hope you enjoy. So yeah, I'll be back real soon. Remember, 5 past the hour, I'll be back. And then we'll get into some SCPs and some short stories. Don't go nowhere, my wildflowers. I'll see you very soon. Mwah.
これは音楽ってやつかもしれないいつかわかる出てほしい
I feel this persisting heaviness. Feels like pouring rain. Why must you persist? Oh, heaviness. Feels like pouring rain. Holding up this weight. This weight might break. This weight might break me. I stopped answering calls. Had to get more involved with finding myself. I'm two hands away from flowers at my funeral. Realize the main. I'm two hands away from eulogies, but I don't wanna die today. It was said he's too young to be a martyr. Never got the chance to live free of the trauma. Never trusted him unless it was his father. Hope it's true what they said about karma. Cause I'm a degenerate and my meds don't work. I'm always skipping school cause Jack is on my shirt. I act up cause my liver only keeps getting so worse. And I act up cause all my friends keep taking rides in a hearse. So fuck church, I'm hurt, that burnt, need more paranoid. Don't lose faith in me, boy, I'm annoyed. I avoid and I'm sorry that I toyed with your heart. We apart, now I'm hurt and that burnt. I need more, give me more or I'll die. I'm afraid I won't survive and I tried, fuck I tried. Now I'm lying on the street, need a ride to get high. I can't stand being me, need a ride to get high. I can't stand being me. Fuck. Persisting feels like pouring rain. Why must you persist? Oh, heaviness feels like pouring rain. Holding up this weight might break. This weight might break. Look, I create to distract myself from the fact that when I look at myself, I avoid eye contact. I feel like I overact, worried to death of the traits that I lack. Get rid of these flashbacks. I didn't ask to go back. Stand back and look back at all of my setbacks. So many times I have turned back to kick that, grabbed onto my drawbacks and come back to cut back. But how can a sad sack like me cut back when I keep all of my drawbacks in my backpack? Like a bunch of fucking useless knickknacks. I'm sure I'll bounce back. But for now, guess I'll just hang back. I feel this ice. Eyes heavy, it's like pouring rain. Not involved with finding myself. Two hands away. It's like pouring rain. Holding up this weight chance to live free of the drama. He's too young to be a martyr. Never got the chance to live free of the trauma.
さあ有言しよう。いただきます。Preparations ready.さあ有言しよう。
Play it, Sam. Play as time goes by.
What the fuck have you done lately?
Play, Sam. Play as time goes by.
What are you doing up?
Well,
I couldn't sleep.
good evening then.
Nishikata, それ縦読みないよ。
Mrs. McClellan, which poem would you like this evening? Since you express no preference, I shall select a poem at random. Sarah Teasdale, as I recall, your favorite. Oh, there will come soft rains and the smell of ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and frogs in their pool singing at night. dress white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, whistling their whims on a low fence wire. And not one will know of the war, not one will care at last when it is done. Mrs. McClellan. Mrs. McClellan. There will come soft rains and the smell of ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and frogs in the pool singing at night, and wild plum trees in tremulous white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, whistling their whims on a low fence wire. Not one would mind, neither bird nor tree, if mankind perished utterly. Oh, there will come soft rains and the smell of ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and spring herself when she woke at dawn would scarcely know that we were gone. We were gone. It is done.
What up, dudes? Welcome back. Sorry, let me see if I can do streaming and have a cat at the same time. It's gonna be some difficult stuff. Don't go up on the desk, buddy. Either chill or go on over. Alright, good stuff. He's chilling. Oh, never mind. He's off. Heck, hope everybody's doing good. I went and I closed the chicken pen. Thankfully I was not attacked by any roosters. Space roosters, in fact. Yeah, I made myself a little tea too. I don't know if you guys have seen this mug before, but it's amazing. It says my name. Oh wait, it doesn't say my name. Frick, it just says Coach. My bad. I really thought it said my name for a second. But regardless, just realized my hat is out of order. That's a weird looking chicken. I know, dude. What is that? What is that right there? What kind of chicken is that? I've never seen a chicken like that before in my life. It says your title. True. True. I am a bit of a coach. You guys see him back there? He does this all the dang time. I'm glad he finally did it during stream. He's sticking his head through him too. They like peering outside, getting a taste of the outside world. Dude, I wish you guys could see it. My roommate's built like out of two windows in a room down that way. When you open the windows, it goes out to like a little like cat bed. That's kind of, or it's like a cat porch almost. You know, it's like cat sized, has like the wiring kind of mesh all around it, and like some beds, some bedding. It's so freaking cool. Like it's these cats are spoiled. Take us to it. I wish, but the cord wouldn't go that long. I don't know, maybe one day I'll post like a little tour on my Instagram page or Twitter or something. But I'd have to do it with my iPhone camera. So taking one cat into space wasn't enough for you. No, dude. No way. Although one is heading out into the corridors. I don't know. I'll let him do as he pleases. He'll probably bump into the janitor. But heck yeah. How are you guys doing? Did you have a pleasant break? I apologize that it was such a long break, but whenever I'm streaming this week, there will be a break for to go get chickens. So just yeah, be aware of that. But heck yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to read some stuff. We've been chit-chatting and it's been super good. But I want to do some reading. So, say goodbye to Skippy for a bit.
Hello everyone. I'm very proud to announce that our first ever harvest of space potatoes was successful. We'll celebrate today after sundown at the garden dome. The bad news is, it's still gonna take about 2 weeks until we can turn them into vodka. Sorry about that.
Dang. Still though, that's freaking awesome. Did you hear that, guys? They yeah, dude, they got like their first potatoes in order. Some good stuff. Welcome to the reading zone. Yeah, it's time to do some stories. Do you want SCPs first? Or would you like stories? What you thinking? Stories or SCPs? Some of the SCPs though or most of them are tales, and not just the SCP explanation. I'm thinking we start with SCPs. This is one. Wait, I believe this is one. Wait, hang on. Is this the one? I believe this is the IKEA one, right? Yeah, this is. Sorry. So, I got recommended to read the IKEA SCP. And when it was mentioned, I couldn't believe that I'd forgotten about this one. I mean, come on, dude, like for real. This is one of the best ones. I know like that animated series was hang on. I don't know if you can hear those birds, but I am going to close the door. Birds in space? What the heck? I guess if they can take chickens to space, they can take parakeets. Love the IKEA one. Also, 2006 is pretty good. Right on. We could maybe go to that one. I'm definitely cool with suggestions. I have a bunch of them loaded up here that I thought would make for a good read. But yeah, let's do SCP-3008 first. Zoom in a little bit so that you guys can see better. All right. SCP-3008. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. The retail park containing SCP-3008 has been purchased by the Foundation and converted into site reducted. All public roads leading to or passing by site reducted have been redirected. The entrance to SCP-3008 is to be monitored at all times, and no one is to enter SCP-3008 outside of testing, as permitted by the senior researcher. Humans exiting SCP-3008 are to be detained and then debriefed prior to the administration of amnestics. Is amnestics? Is that what it is? Like amnesia? Dependent upon the duration of their stay in SCP-3008. A cover story may need to be generated prior to their release. Any other entities exiting SCP-3008 are to be terminated. Description: SCP-3008 is a large retail unit previously owned by and branded as IKEA, a popular furniture retail chain. A person entering SCP-3008 through the main entrance and then passing out of sight of the doors will find themselves translocated to SCP-3008-1. This displacement will typically go unnoticed, as no change will occur from the perspective of the victim. They will generally not become aware until they try to return to the entrance. SCP-3008-1 is a space resembling the inside of an IKEA furniture store, extending far beyond the limits of what could physically be contained within the dimensions of the retail unit. Current measurements indicate an area of at least 10 kilometers squared, with no visible external terminators detected in any direction. Inconclusive results from the use of laser rangefinders has led to the speculation that the space may be infinite. SCP-3008-1 is inhabited by an unknown number of civilians trapped within prior to containment. Gathered data suggests they have formed a rudimentary civilization within SCP-3008-1, including the construction of settlements and fortifications for the purpose of defending against SCP-3008-2. SCP-3008-2 are humanoid entities that exist within SCP-3008-1. While superficially resembling humans, they possess exaggerated and inconsistent bodily proportions, often described as being too short or too tall. They possess no facial features, and in all observed cases wear a yellow shirt and blue trousers consistent with the IKEA employee uniform. SCP-3008-1 has a rudimentary day-night cycle, determined by overhead lighting within the space, activating and deactivating at times consistent with the opening and closing times of the original retail store. During the night, instances of SCP-3008-2 will become violent towards all other life forms within SCP-3008-1. During these bouts of violence, they have been heard to vocalize phrases in English that are typically variations of, "The store is closed now. Please exit the building." Once day begins, SCP-3008-2 instances immediately become passive and begin moving throughout SCP-3008-1 seemingly at random. They are unresponsive to questioning or other verbal cues in this state, though will react violently if attacked. SCP-3008-1 is known to have one or more exits located within, though these exits do not appear to have a fixed position, making it difficult to leave SCP-3008-1 once inside. Using any other door besides the main entrance to enter the structure or breaking through the walls of the retail unit leads into the non-anomalous interior of the original store. Since containment began, 14 individuals have managed to exit SCP-3008. Following extensive debriefing, all individuals have been administered anesthetics and released. Incident 3008-1 at 00:37 hours on Reducted. A human male exited SCP-3008, followed 10 seconds later by an instance of SCP-3008-2. SCP-3008-2 caught and killed the man before itself being terminated by armed response personnel. This incident represents the only time an instance of SCP-3008-2 has been seen exiting SCP-3008. A full autopsy of the corpse was performed. See 3008-2 autopsy log for more details. The man was carrying an IKEA-branded journal, seeming to document his time in SCP-3008-1, transcribed below verbatim. So, I'm writing this to document what I can only assume is my sudden descent into insanity. I can't possibly be that bad a navigator. And yet, as I write this, I've been trapped in IKEA for 2 days. I haven't seen another person in the entire time I've been here. I thought it was a prank at first. Turn the place into a maze, get all the people out, and see how long it takes me to get lost. Then everyone has a good old laugh. Realized that wasn't the case when I tried to backtrack. Everything had changed, so I ended up lost. Instead of the exit, it was just row after row of bookcases. So, I'm trapped in an IKEA. Sounds like the setup for a bad joke. The lights went out at 10 p.m. Nearly gave me a fucking heart attack. That loud electrical thunk sound. And then pitch blackness. Place is full of beds, though, and my phone has a torch on it. But no damn signal. So I found a bed and went to sleep. Spent most of the next day trying to find my way out, with no luck. Did find a restaurant serving those meatballs, though, so at least I won't starve. That's probably the punchline to that joke. Anyway, they were still warm and fresh, but I haven't seen anyone around who could have cooked them. Maybe made my way back to the beds before the lights cut out again, since it's too dark to search with them off. It's 9:10 a.m. now. The lights came back on a little while ago. I'm sure I've searched the entire area around where I came in now, and the exit obviously isn't here. So, I'm going to pick a direction and hope for the best. Day 3 of my magical IKEA mystery adventure. If I wasn't sure that there was something seriously weird about this place before, I am now. Walked for 3 hours in a more or less straight line. Insert IKEA joke here. Before I came across a ladder next to one of those huge stock shelves they have there. Climbed up to get my bearings, and it looks like this place just stretches on forever. That scene from The Lion King, except instead of trees and grass, it was all shelves and tables and crap. I did see a person moving not too far away, though, so I headed over. Thought it was a staff member at first. It was wearing the uniform. And hell, maybe it was. Maybe freakish 7-foot-tall monsters with long arms, short legs, and no faces are just the kinds of things they want working at Super IKEA. Damn thing completely ignored me, though. And with no eyes or ears, I can't even be sure if it knew I was there. Thought about shoving it, or something to get its attention, but its hands were big enough to crush a watermelon, so I decided against it. It just kept moving along, and eventually I lost sight of it, so I decided to carry on the way I was going. Anyway, no comfy bed for me tonight. Looks like I've entered the improbably hard and pointy table section of the store. Guess I'll have to make do with some bunched up tablecloths. Phone battery died during the day too. Didn't work anyway. But I feel like I've just lost some vital lifeline. You ever just see one of those cartoons where they're going through doors in a hallway and they just pop out of another door in the same hallway? That's how I feel right now. I've seen nothing but the same identical bookshelf for 2 days now. Just row after row after row of them. I mean, come on. I love books as much as the next guy, but this is excessive. I'm obviously still moving forwards, though. I can see the signs hanging overhead, passing by. Too bad none of them say exit. Not sure who I was addressing that question to. Let's just say it was practice for my autobiography I'm going to write when I get out of here.
Priority A warning. We have experienced a partial depressurization in section D7 of the colony caused by an explosion in the coffee bean depot. All tenants within the section are to wear respiration masks at all times until full atmospheric pressure has been restored.
Dang, I left my mask at home. I'll probably be fine. Not sure who I was addressing that question to. Let's just say it was practice for the autobiography I'm going to write when I get out of here. I'll call it my perfectly normal trip to a regular old IKEA. If I ever get... Finally found some other people. Yeah, turns out I'm not the only poor bastard trapped in here. Lucky for me, I guess. My 6th night here, 2 of those staff things came at me in the dark. Different from the first one I saw, but still messed up. Heard them coming. They were saying that the store was closed and I had to leave the building. All nice and polite like. I'm not sure which part was weirder. That they don't have mouths, or that they were apparently trying to kill me while saying it. Came at me like rabid dogs. So I legged it, sprinting through IKEA in the dark, like a fucking madman. I saw it when I cleared another stand of those giant stock shelves, all lit up with torches and floodlights. They've built a whole town in here. Got a massive wall built out of shelves and beds and tables and whatever else. I swear to God, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Anyway, I guess they saw me coming. Or maybe they heard my manly bellows of fear. Because they had a gate open and 2 people were waving me in. Heard the staff things slam into the gate behind me after it closed, still politely informing us all that the store was now closed. They wandered off eventually, though. They called the town Exchange, because that's what's on the sign hanging from the ceiling directly above it. Exchange and returns. All lit up against the night, using lights they've found and plugged into power lines. And there are beds, and food, and people. Over 50 wonderful people with regular-sized limbs and a full set of facial features. It's now my 7th night here, and the first one not spent in darkness. A full week living in IKEA. There's probably a TV show in that somewhere. Now that I'm around other people, I'm starting to feel more normal. Maybe normal isn't the word. But after a week with only the sound of my own footsteps for company, I was becoming increasingly sure that I'd just gone nuts. That I was tied up in some padded room somewhere, banging my head against the wall. But no, I feel quite sane now. Thank you very much. Apparently, there are other towns here, Some with more people, some with less. I found that fairly mind-boggling. How can that many people go missing with no one noticing? Surely someone would have noticed that everyone who goes to IKEA seems to fucking vanish. Or maybe it's not everyone. Maybe we're just the lucky ones. The people here just call those staff monsters things, whatever. The staff. Apparently they are fine during the day, minding their own business, walking the aisles. As soon as those lights go out, though, they go fucking bonkers. So during the day, people go out to find food, water, and whatever else they need. Apparently there are restaurants and shops around that randomly get restocked. No one knows how. Maybe the staff do it. Apparently they aren't very good at their jobs, though, because the restocking sometimes takes a while, which means the food needs to be rationed. Maybe if they weren't so busy chasing people around in the dark, they'd get more done. Anyway, when night comes, the staff goes nuts, and everyone holds up inside the walls. Apparently it's the same everywhere else in this place. Whatever this place is. The year IKEA, from whence all other IKEAs sprang. Or maybe we're all just in a regular IKEA. This is all some fever dream brought on by mind-numbing boredom. Who knows? Been here for 10 days now. Most of the people I asked said they stopped keeping track of time a long time ago. Chris said he'd been here for years. Years. Apparently, there are rumors of people who do manage to get out, and of people who see the exit, only to have it vanish before their very eyes. I get the feeling not everyone believes that, but I do. Explains how we got stuck in here in the first place. Sort of. And I mean, come on. Staff monsters. Row after endless row of high-quality Swedish furniture. I don't know why they would find a disappearing door so hard to believe in. Anyway, I went out scavenging for food at a nearby shop with Sandra and Jerry today. Once you learn the landmarks of this place, it's not so hard to navigate. The overhead signs help a lot, but there are others. Not too far in the distance, a huge section of those giant stock shelves has collapsed against each other. And way off in the east, we all assume it's east anyway. Apparently IKEA doesn't sell compasses. It was some kind of tower. It looks like it's made of wood. Reaches all the way to the ceiling. Maybe they were trying to break out through the roof. Lights up at night, so there must be people there. But it's apparently a few days' walk, which means it must be miles away. So no one here really knows for sure. Apparently I got incredibly lucky sleeping out in the open for a week without getting ripped to bits by the staff. That's me. Lucky, lucky, lucky. I found some food in the shop. Guess the staff restocked it during the night, which was nice of them. There was a telephone on the wall, so I figured I'd try it out. There was a voice on the other end. But they were just talking nonsense. Random words strung together with no real meaning. You ever see a video of someone with aphasia? Kind of sounds like that. Didn't answer me when I spoke to them anyway. Sandra says all the phones in here are the same. Oops. Asking the journal questions again. I was thinking last night. The ceiling on this place is pretty high. As far as anyone can tell, it goes on forever. Shouldn't there be some kind of weather in here? I mean, sure, I'd read about some NASA buildings that were so big, it had their own weather patterns, with clouds and stuff. This place is definitely bigger than that. But now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure I've never felt so much as a temperature change in here. I'll add it to the grand list of weird bullshit. The staff attacked the exchange last night. Must have been 20 or 30 of them, all just asking us to leave the store calm as you like, while trying to smash the walls down with their bare hands. Apparently this happens pretty regularly, so everyone is prepared for it. Knives from the restaurants, lawnmower blades made into hatchets, a fire axe. One guy, Wasson, even made a functional crossbow. Anyway, the walls have holes in them, which I hadn't noticed before. Specifically so we can stab out at the staff when they attack. Took a couple of them down myself. They don't seem to bleed, which is weird, but they go down as easy as a regular person once you start sticking holes in them. We had to haul the bodies away in the morning. Apparently the dead ones will attract more during the night, so we had to get them away from the exchange. We had a couple of those trolley things they used to move big boxes around, so we loaded them up and took them over to pickup. Apparently people just name everything in here after what sign is hanging overhead. Pickup was grisly. There were hundreds, maybe thousands of dead staff, all piled up. There was no smell, which was a blessing. Apparently, in addition to not bleeding, these things don't rot either. My curiosity got the better of me while we were unloading them, so I took a look at one of the more cut up ones. They're just skin, or something that looks like skin, all the way through. No muscle, no bone, no organs. Are they even really alive in the first place? They certainly seem like they have bones when they are moving around, pounding on the walls. And I'm sure I felt more resistance than just skin when the knife went in during that night. Maybe something happens to them when they die. Just one more thing on the ever-increasing list of weird shit that goes on in here, I guess. Something occurred to me. After the staff attacked the other night, every time you see a situation like this on TV or in a film, like it's the end of the world, where everyone is trapped on an island or whatever, once groups like ours start to form, people always seem to turn on each other, fighting for food or dominance or whatever else. That hasn't happened here. Apparently people from other towns come by from time to time, just to check in, or occasionally to trade if they are short on something. But everything is always cordial, friendly even. Maybe it's the threat of the staff, or perhaps the constant restocking of supplies in the shops means there's nothing much to fight over. Maybe people are just better than they are generally given credit for. That's a nice thought. I think I'll go with that one. A dozen people showed up at the gates this afternoon from a town called Trolleys. Apparently the staff broke through the walls and tore the town apart during the night. These 12 are the only survivors, out of 100. We let them in, obviously. One more point in the human decency column. Later, I asked if anyone knew how many of these towns there were out there. Between us and the new folks, we managed to come up with over 20 names. 20 towns filled with people, and who knows how many beyond that. The motto for this place should be, how is that even possible? Surely someone, somewhere, must be looking for the thousands of people that must be in here. I've been here for a little over 2 months now. Not that much changes, as it turns out. A couple of new people showed up, same story as the rest of us. Nice little trip to IKEA, and suddenly they're trapped in Billy Bookcase's house of faceless weirdos. The staff attack the exchange once or twice a week. We kill them and haul their bodies off. Sometimes they hurt some of us first. They killed a guy called Jared a couple of weeks back. It was awful, frankly. Turns out regular humans still bleed in here, even if the staff don't. We tried our best, but none of us are doctors. Jared was a good guy. He deserved better. We all do. It occurred to me a couple of days after that. None of us were really looking for a way out of here. I don't even know where we'd start. One of those quadcopter things with a camera attached buzzed past Exchange today. And I thought it meant that someone was finally looking for us, that help was on the way. Apparently it's not the first time this has happened, though. Same thing happened a few months ago, and everyone is still here. No idea if it saw us. It didn't stop if it did. Just kept flying until we could no longer see it. Note: based on recovery time from the journal, this entry appears to line up approximately with our first successful test piloting a drone inside SCP-3008-1. Analysis of footage shows a walled settlement under a sign labeled Exchange and Returns. Attempting to relocate the settlement failed. Origin of previously sighted drones is unknown. I started talking to people about the stuff they miss from home during dinner today. Probably not the best idea I've ever had. Everyone seemed pretty down after. A bunch of people here have families. Husbands and wives, kids, dogs. Franklin apparently has a pet llama, though I'm not sure I buy that. But apparently some of the people here have some seriously odd gaps in their knowledge. 3 of them had never heard of the International Space Station. 2 of them seemed to think redacted was the Prime Minister, and one of them apparently never heard of the Statue of Liberty. I believe them too. They seemed just as confused as the rest of us. The more I thought about it, though, the more it started to explain a few things. What if the reason no one is looking for all of us missing people is that we haven't all come from the same place? This is going to sound weird. Maybe that should be the motto for this place. But what if all people here have come from different dimensions, realities, whatever you call it? I've seen enough TV shows to know the drill. Sarah comes from a place where there is no Statue of Liberty. They didn't launch a space station where Wassim is from. If everyone here came from different places, even from ones that seem identical, there'd be no huge missing persons panic, no mass search. We'd just be a blip, a single missing person in a world of non-stop news. Well, that was a fun train of thought. Just realized that yesterday was the 6-month anniversary of my arrival here. I wonder if IKEA sells party hats. The routine around here has remained more or less the same. More new folk show up, one every couple of weeks or so. Food supplies go up and down, but we've never actually had a major shortage. Occasionally we get a visitor from one of the nearby towns, usually checkouts or aisle 630. We check in with each other, from time to time. Occasionally trade supplies if someone gets particularly low on something. It's comforting in a way. A reminder that we aren't alone in here. Some small glimmer of civilization. Sometimes they bring medical supplies. Apparently there's a pharmacy a few towns down from checkouts that gets restocked every now and then, so they share out what they can. I've never heard of an IKEA with a pharmacy before, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if I stumbled upon an IKEA organ harvesting lab. Would certainly explain the staff. Speaking of our faceless jailers, their attacks have been getting worse lately. 3 or 4 times a week now, with twice as many staff as there used to be. No idea where they all come from, or why the attacks have increased. We tried following one of them during the day a few weeks ago, me and Sarah. Wanted to see if they lead back to a staff room or something. Didn't seem to go anywhere though, just randomly walked through the aisles. We had to turn back before we found anything. We've been reinforcing the walls, trying to arm ourselves better. Certainly no lack of materials to use. Wasim has been making more crossbows, but it's pretty slow going. It's too bad IKEA doesn't sell guns. Note: no new personnel have entered SCP-3008 at site redacted in the time span indicated in this entry. The attacks have been getting bad now. Almost every night, and with so many staff that the bodies almost pile high enough for others to climb the walls. I think we're in real trouble here. Exchange is... I think exchange is done. We got hit pretty bad last night. Not many casualties, but the wall is wrecked. We finally figured out why the attacks have been escalating too. A box of supplies had a chunk of one of the staff in there. No idea how it happened, but apparently a piece of one will draw them as well as a full body. Too late now in any case. There's too many bodies for us to haul away, and still have time to fix the wall before night. Candace has called a meeting. I suspect there will be talking of abandoning exchange. Maybe try and get shelter at checkouts or something. It's already getting late though. I don't think we'll have time to make it. Maybe some of us will. I was fine for that first week out in the dark, after all. But then, how often can I keep getting lucky? I'm only writing this for a sense of closure, I guess. For me, or for anyone who finds this. If there is the final entry here, or if this is the final entry here. I hope whoever is reading this is doing so from outside of this place. My biggest fear? If I do die tonight, I'll just wake up here again in the morning. Note: this is the last entry. It is assumed that while attempting to reach the checkouts settlement, he was separated from the rest of his group by pursuing SCP-3008-2 instance and happened upon the exit. Why is that so terrifying? Why is that so terrifying? Good gravy, guys. Now let me catch up with chat. The lizards one is funny to me. The unkillable guy. I'm going to IKEA tomorrow. Need furniture. Don't do it, dude. Don't. It's not worth it. You may never return. Love that shite, dude. I will never go to IKEA again. I mean, I've never gone anyways, but now I certainly won't try. Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's fun to imagine. And I love that, I don't know, because there've been so many, like, post-apocalyptic, like, dystopian, maybe not dystopian, but, like, that kind of barren wasteland kind of post-apocalyptic settings. Like, there's been so many renditions of that, right? But this is such a unique version of it, dude. Oh my goodness. This tea is fantastic. Dude, this... Oh, dude, You know what's so amazing about this tea right now? I haven't had tea in like a week. I was on like a... like a tea binge where like I had to have tea every single day. But goodness, dude. It's sleepy time tea. I'm thinking if I drink it now during the stream, I will be sleepy by the end of it. Which is good because, I need to go to bed at a decent hour tonight because I have chickens to go and let out in the morning. But thankfully I only need to be up by like 9 or so, But sleepy time tea is good. I mean, granted, I put a little brown sugar in there, but what can you do? It's at the perfect warmth too. That story lined up so well. Do SCP-682 if you're taking suggestions. Let me just like show you which ones I've brought out. There's black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white, gray. Document recovered from the Marina's Trench. Wowee! Go kill yourself. Bees! This one I was kind of excited for. It looks so good. And a transcript of Dr. Clef's seminar, Reality Benders and You. How to survive when existence does not. Fear Alone. And these last two go together. SCP-1440 and Thrice. The Tale Thrice. Heck. Let's check out what was it? 682. Kill 682. Okay, I'm assuming it's the top one, right? This looking familiar? Yeah. Is 1440 the guy who is pretty much God? Or is someone else, lol? Or is that someone else? He seems kind of like God. I don't know. He's like, I don't know. Yeah, he's certainly powerful. He's got his own possessions, but if he comes into contact with any other human being, or human, or like other material that's like from the material plane, it violently explodes. But I believe, like, I only bred, guys. I only read part of it. So I don't know the whole spiel. It seemed cool though. But yeah, let's check out SCP-682. SCP-682. Object Class, Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-682 must be destroyed as soon as possible. At this time, no means available to SCP teams are capable of destroying SCP-682, only able to cause massive physical damage. SCP-682 should be contained within a 5 meter by 5 meter by 5 meter chamber, with a 25 centimeter reinforced acid-resistant steel plate lining all inside surfaces. The containment chamber should be filled with hydrochloric acid until SCP-682 is submerged and incapacitated. Any attempts of SCP-682 to move, speak, or breathe containment should be reacted to quickly and with full force as called for by the circumstances. Personnel are forbidden to speak to SCP-682 for fear of provoking a rage state. All unauthorized personnel attempting to communicate to SCP-682 will be restrained and removed by force. Due to its frequent attempts at containment breach, difficulty of containment and incapacitation, and high threat of Foundation exposure, SCP-682 is to be contained in Site Redacted. The Foundation will use the best of its resources to maintain all land within 50 kilometers clear of human development. Description: SCP-682 is a large, vaguely reptilian-like creature of unknown origin. It appears to be extremely intelligent, and was observed to engage in complex communication with SCP-079 during the limited time of exposure. 682 appears to have a hatred of all life, which has been expressed in several interviews during containment. See Addendum 682-B. SCP-682 has always been observed to have extremely high strength, speed, and reflexes, though exact levels vary with its form. 682's physical body grows and changes very quickly, growing or decreasing in size as it consumes or sheds material. 682 gains energy from anything it ingests, organic or inorganic. Digestion seems to be aided by a set of filtering gills inside of 682's nostrils, which are able to remove usable matter from any liquid solution, enabling it to constantly regenerate from the acid it is contained in. 682's regenerative capabilities and resilience are staggering, and 682 has been seen moving and speaking with its body 87% destroyed or rotted. In case of containment breach, 682 is to be tracked and recaptured by all available mobile task forces, and no teams with fewer than 7 members are cleared to engage it. To date, redacted, attempted breaches have numbered at 17, while successful breaches have numbered at 6. See Addendum 682-D. Addendum B. Portion of recorded transcript of Redacted. Dr. Redacted. No. Why did you kill those farmers? If you don't talk now, we will remove you from this attempt and place you back into... Pardon. Speak up. Move the mic closer. That microphone has only so much gain. Move it closer to it. His throat is messed up, man. Look at it. He ain't talking. They are disgusting. Thank you, Nick. Shoot, I guess I could actually scream. My roomies are on vacation, as I said, so I could actually scream. Now that's a scream, Nick. Let's go. Let's go. Alright. Addendum 682-D. Breaches with SCP-682. First occurrence redacted. Handled by Agent Redacted, Agent Redacteded, and Agent Redactina. Killed in action. Rest in peace, Redactedina. Personnel D129 killed in action. Personnel D027 killed in action. Personnel D173 killed in action. Okay, so these are kind of all the same. I get you. Oh, in this one, someone was MIA instead of KIA. Addendum 682E, termination options. Log of event 682E18. Doctor redacted. Attempts to use SCP-409 on SCP-682. General redacted. General redacto. And Dr. Redactamundo observing. Exposure. SCP-682 began to tear at the point of contact, causing massive trauma to the area. 682 requests several times to know what it has been exposed to. Crystallization begins, spreading much slower than normal. 682 shows signs of extreme pain and begins having seizures. Crystallization stops at 62% conversion. Crystallized area explodes, causing massive physical trauma to 682. 682 recovers from exposure, despite the loss of limbs and organs. 682 begins regeneration, stating that it will attempt to kill and consume all staff involved in Event 682E18. SCP-409 is the crystal that crystallizes anything that comes in contact with it. Nice. That was a good idea. But apparently it was not enough. 682 appears to now be immune to 409. Use of other SCP items to terminate 682 must now first be tested on samples of 682 before full-scale testing, in accordance to Dr. Redacted's recommendations. Dr. Redacto and Dr. Redactamundanamore have requested permission to attempt the termination of SCP-682 using 689. The request is currently pending approval from Redactosaurus. It has also been suggested by Dr. Gears to use 182 in an attempt to communicate with 682. 182 has expressed reluctance and refuses to enter the containment center of 682, if at all possible. Yeah, dude, that sounds kind of terrifying. Is this like the approximation of what it would look like? God, dude, what does it look like fully reformed? And I guess it shifts and changes as it grows. There's like a small, wants to watch the world burn part of me that would like to see what it would become if it was just let loose. Like there's one where this guy who is practically God is brought in to try to destroy it, and he's unable. So he gets pissed at the scientist for showing him it and kills some of them. Lamau. Hey, Lamau. I mean, to be fair, if you were a god, or in fact, like basically the god, right? Power over all things. And you come to find that there is actually one thing that you do not have power over. That'd be like, I mean, we all know the feeling of what it's like to, not have control over something, right? We as humans experience that all the time. But if somebody had never experienced that, and then suddenly, out of the blue, some scientist, some goober of a scientist, shows you, just brings you in a room and shows you something you can't handle. It's no wonder. I mean, I'm surprised the god didn't, like, I don't know, destroy everything. He does whatever he wants to the SCP Foundation. Oh, to the SCP Foundation. Oh, sorry. He does whatever he wants, so the SCP Foundation tries not to fuck with him. Makes sense, dude. Would you want to fuck with a god? No. Unless you're a demigod. Or another god. Whew. My throat is struggling. Alright. Golly. This one's long. This one seems so good, though. Apparently, like, when I Google, just straight up Google, sci-fi short stories, this is the one that pops up first and foremost. It seems so good. But we also have The Planet of the Dead, Sentinel, or we could read another in the Martian Chronicles. Which there's a variety of things. I've heard that the musician seems interesting. Way in the middle of the air sounds cool. The Martian is meant to be a good one. The Off-Season, The Watchers, The Silent Towns, The Long Years. There will come soft rains. Whoo! Let's go. Woot woot. Yeah, shoot. You guys want to check out The Martian? Oh, wait. Freak. No, sorry. This is one that we already read, right? Yeah. Sorry. My bad. We read this one last time. Yeah, that's the one where the Martian or the alien takes the form of a loved one or someone significant to them who had been lost. Yeah, that was a good one. Dang. The luggage store. What is this? Some kind of Martian IKEA? I don't know. What are you guys thinking? As if you guys don't decide, I will. I'm gonna bring the mic down a little bit lower so that I can sit with my back actually against the I don't know. Can you guys hear me okay from here? I don't know. It'd be nice if I can actually sit back against the chair. Normally I'm propped up, you know, where like my back isn't actually against the backing of the chair. Well, okay. Not getting much of any response, so I'll go ahead and choose one. Can hear. Good stuff. Well, I know we meant to read The Sentinel last time. We didn't get to it, so let's give this one a go. This is by the same guy, I believe, that did The Flower of Aggernon? Aggernon? that what it was called? Sci Fi. I did save it, didn't I? Or was it called the Demon of the Flower? Or no, frick, this is a different guy. My bad. Clark Ashton Smith and Arthur C. Clarke. I get those mixed up. Alright. Let's go ahead and start. This is The Sentinel by Arthur C. Clarke. 1951. Avon Periodicals, Inc. The next time you see the full moon high in the south, look carefully at its right-hand edge, and let your eye travel upward along the curve of the disk. Round about 2 o'clock, you will notice a small, dark oval. Anyone with normal eyesight can find it quite easily. It is the Great Walled Plain, one of the finest on the moon, known as the Mare Crisium, the Sea of Crises. 300 miles in diameter, and almost completely surrounded by a ring of magnificent mountains. It had never been explored until we entered it in the late summer of 1996. Our expedition was a large one. We had 2 heavy freighters which had flown our supplies and equipment from the main lunar base in the Mare Serenitatis, 500 miles away. There were also 3 small rockets, which were intended for short-range transport over regions which our surface vehicles could not cross. Luckily, most of the Mare Crisium is very flat. There are none of the great crevasses so common and so dangerous elsewhere, and very few craters or mountains of any size. As far as we could tell, our powerful caterpillar tractors would have no difficulty in taking us wherever we wished to go. I was geologist, or selenologist, if you want to be pedantic. In charge of. Sorry, I don't think there should be a period there. If you want to be pedantic, in charge of the group exploring the southern region of Mare. We had crossed 100 miles of it in a week, skirting the foothills of the mountain along the shore of what was once the ancient sea, some 1,000 million years before, when life was beginning on Earth. It was already dying here. The waters were retreating down the flanks of those stupendous cliffs, retreating into the empty heart of the moon. Over the land which we were crossing, the tideless ocean had once been 1/2 mile deep, and now the only trace of moisture was the hoarfrost one could sometimes find in caves, which the searing light never penetrated. We had begun our journey early in the slow lunar dawn, and still had almost a week of Earth time before nightfall. Half a dozen times a day, we would leave our vehicle and go outside in the spacesuits to hunt for interesting mineral, or to place markers for the guidance of future travelers. It was an uneventful routine. There is nothing hazardous or even particularly exciting about lunar exploration. We could live comfortably for a month in our pressurized tractors, and if we ran into trouble, we could always radio for help and sit tight until one of the spaceships came to our rescue. I said just now that there was nothing exciting about lunar exploration, but of course, that isn't true. One could never grow tired of those incredible mountains, so much more rugged than the gentle hills of Earth. We never knew, as we rounded the capes and promontories of that vanished sea, what new splendors would be revealed to us. The whole southern curve of the Mare Crisium is a vast delta where a score of rivers once found their way into the ocean, fed perhaps by the torrential rains that must have lashed the mountains in the brief volcanic age when the moon was young. Each of these ancient valleys was an invitation, challenging us to climb into the unknown uplands beyond. But we had 100 miles still to cover, and could only look longingly at the heights which others must scale. We kept Earth time aboard the tractor, and precisely at 2200 hours, the final radio message would be sent out to the base, and we would close down for the day. Outside, the rocks would still be burning beneath the almost vertical sun, but to us, it was night until we woke again 8 hours later. Then one of us would prepare breakfast. There would be a great buzzing of electric razors, and someone would switch on the short-wave radio from Earth. Indeed, when the smell of frying sausages began to fill the cabin, it was sometimes hard to believe that we were not back on our own world. Everything was so normal and homely, apart from the feeling of decreased weight and the unnatural slowness with which objects fell. It was my turn to prepare breakfast in the corner of the main cabin that served as a galley. I can remember that moment quite vividly after all these years, for the radio had just played one of my favorite melodies, the old Welsh air, David of the White Rock. Our driver was already outside in his spacesuit, inspecting our caterpillar treads. My assistant, Louise Garnett, was up forward in the control position, making some belated entries in yesterday's log. As I stood by the frying pan waiting, like any terrestrial housewife, for the sausages to brown, I let my gaze wander idly over the mountain walls which covered the whole of the southern horizon, marching out of sight to east and west before the curve of the moon. They seemed only a mile or two from the tractor, but I knew that the nearest was 20 miles away. On the moon, of course, this is no loss of detail with distance. There is no loss of detail with distance. None of that almost imperceptible haziness which softens and sometimes transfigures all far-off things on Earth. The mountains were 10,000 feet high, and they climbed steeply out of the plains, as if ages ago some subterranean eruption had smashed them skyward through the molten crust. The base of even the nearest was hidden from sight by the steeply curving surface of the plain, for the moon is a very little world, and from where I was standing, the horizon was only 2 miles away. I lifted my eyes towards the peak, which no man had ever climbed. The peaks which, before the coming of terrestrial life, had watched the retreating oceans sink sullenly into their graves, taking with them the hope and the morning promise of a world. The sunlight was beating against those ramparts with a glare that hurt the eyes. Yet only a little way above them, the stars were shining steadily in a sky blacker than a winter midnight on Earth. I was turning away when my eye caught a metallic glitter high on the ridge of a great promontory thrusting out into the sea 30 miles to the west. It was a dimensionless point of light, as if a star had been clawed from the sky by one of those cruel peaks. And I imagined that some smooth rock surface was catching the sunlight and heliographing it straight into my eyes. Such things were not uncommon. When the moon is in her second quarter, observers on Earth can sometimes see the great ranges of the Oceanus Procellarum burning with a blue-white iridescence as the sunlight flashes from their slopes and leaps again from world to world. But I was curious to know what kind of rock could be shining so brightly up there, and I climbed into the observation turret and swung our 4-inch telescope round to the west. I could see just enough to tantalize me. Clear and sharp, in the field of vision, the mountain peaks seemed only half a mile away. But whatever was catching the sunlight was still too small to be resolved. Yet it seemed to have an elusive symmetry, and the summit upon which it rested was curiously flat. I stared for a long time at that glittering enigma, straining my eyes into space, until presently a smell of burning from the galley told me that our breakfast sausages had made their 250,000-mile journey in vain. All that morning, we argued our way across the Mare Crisium, which the western mountains reared higher into the sky, while the western mountains reared higher in the sky. Even when we were out prospecting in the spacesuits, the discussion would continue over the radio. It was absolutely certain, my companions argued, that there had never been any form of intelligent life on the moon. The only living things that had ever existed there were a few primitive plants and their slightly less degenerate ancestors. I think that as well as anyone, but there are times when a scientist must not be afraid to make a fool of himself. "Listen," I said at last, "I'm going up there, if only for my own peace of mind. The mountain's less than 12,000 feet high. That's only 2,000 under Earth gravity, and I can make the trip in 20 hours at the outside. I've always wanted to go up into those hills anyway, and this gives me an excellent excuse." "If you don't break your neck," said Garnett, "you'll be the laughing stock of the expedition when we get back to the base. The mountain will probably be called Wilson's Folly from now on." "I won't break my neck," I said firmly. "Who was the first man to climb Pico and Helicon?" "But weren't you rather younger in those days?" asked Louise gently. "That," I said with great dignity, "is a good reason as any for going." We went to bed early that night. After driving the tractor to within half a mile of the promontory, Garnett was coming with me in the morning. He was a good climber, and had often been with me on such exploits before. Our driver was only too glad to be left in charge of the machine. At first sight, those cliffs seemed completely unscalable. But to anyone with a good head for heights, climbing is easy on a world where all weights are only a sixth of their normal value. The real danger in lunar mountaineering lies in overconfidence. A 600-foot drop on the moon can kill you just as thoroughly as a 100-foot fall on Earth. We made our first halt on a wide ledge about 4,000 feet above the plain. Climbing had not been very difficult, but my limbs were stiff with the unaccustomed effort, and I was glad of the rest. We could still see the tractor as a tiny metal insect far down at the foot of the cliff, and we reported our progress to the driver before starting on the next ascent. Inside our suits was comfortably cool, for the refrigeration units were fighting the fierce sun and carrying away the body heat of our exertions. We seldom spoke to each other, except to pass climbing instructions and to discuss our best plan of ascent. I do not know what Garnett was thinking. Probably that this was the craziest goose chase he had ever embarked on. I more than half agreed with him. But the joy of climbing, the knowledge that no man had ever gone this way before, and the exhilaration of the steadily widening landscape gave me all the reward I needed. I don't think I was particularly excited when I saw in front of us the wall of rock I had first inspected through the telescope from 30 miles away. It would level off about 50 feet above our heads. And there on the plateau would be the thing that had lured me over these barren wastes. It was, almost certainly, nothing more than a boulder splintered ages ago by a falling meteor, and with its cleavage planes still fresh and bright in the incorruptible, unchanging silence. There were no handholds on the rock's face, and we had to use a grapnel. My tired arms seemed to gain new strength as I swung the three-pronged metal anchor round my head and sent it sailing lip toward the stars. The first time it broke loose and came falling slowly back when we pulled the rope. On the third attempt, the prongs gripped firmly, and our combined weights could not shift it. Garnett looked at me anxiously. I could tell that he wanted to go first, but I smiled back at him through the glass of my helmet and shook my head. Slowly, taking my time, I began the final ascent. Even with my spacesuit, I weighed only 40 pounds here, so I pulled myself up hand over hand without bothering to use my feet. At the rim, I paused and waved to my companion. When I scrambled over the edge and stood upright, staring ahead of me. You must understand that until this very moment, I had been almost completely convinced that there could be nothing strange or unusual for me to find here. Almost, but not quite. It was that haunting doubt that had driven me forward. Well, it was doubt no longer, but the haunting had scarcely begun. I was standing on a plateau, perhaps 100 feet across. It had once been smooth, too smooth to be natural, but falling meteors had pitted and scored its surface through immeasurable eons. It had been leveled to support a glittering, roughly pyramidal structure, twice as high as a man, that was set in the rock like a gigantic, many-faceted jewel. Probably no emotion at all filled my mind in those first few seconds. Then I felt a great lifting of my heart, and a strange, inexpressible joy. For I loved the moon, and now I knew that the creeping moss of Aristarchus, and Eratosthenes was not the only life she had brought forth in her youth. The old, discredited dream of the first explorers was true. There had, after all, been a lunar civilization, and I was the first to find it. That I had come perhaps 100 million years too late did not distress me. It was enough to have come at all. My mind was beginning to function normally, to analyze and to ask questions. Was this a building, a shrine, or something for which my language had no name? If a building, Then why was it erected in so uniquely inaccessible a spot? I wondered if it might be a temple, and I could picture the adepts of some strange priesthood calling on their god to preserve them as the life of the moon ebbed with the dying oceans, and calling on their gods in vain. I took a dozen steps forward to examine the thing more closely, but some sense of caution kept me from going too near. I knew little of archaeology, and tried to guess the cultural level of the civilization that must have smoothed this mountain and raised the glittering mirror surfaces that still dazzled my eyes. The Egyptians could have done it, I thought, if their workmen had possessed whatever strange materials these far more ancient architects had used. Because of the thing's smallness, it did not occur to me that I might be looking at the handiwork of a race more advanced than my own. The idea that the moon had possessed intelligence at all was still almost too tremendous to grasp, and my pride would not let me take the final, humiliating plunge. And then I noticed something that set the scalp crawling at the back of my neck. Something so trivial and so innocent that many would never have noticed it at all. I've said that the plateau was scarred by meteors. It was also coated inches deep with the cosmic dust that is always filtering down upon the surface of any world where there are no winds to disturb it. Yet the dust and the meteor scratches ended quite abruptly in a wide circle enclosing the little pyramid, as though an invisible wall was protecting it from the ravages of time and the slow but ceaseless bombardment from space. Oh, hey May, what's up? Welcome. There was someone shouting in my earphones, and I realized that Garnett had been calling me for some time. I walked unsteadily to the edge of the cliff and signaled him to join me, not trusting myself to speak. Then I went back toward the circle in the dust. I picked up a fragment of splintered rock and tossed it gently toward the shining enigma. If the pebble had vanished at the invisible barrier, I should not have been surprised. But it seemed to hit a smooth, hemispherical surface and slide gently to the ground. I knew then that I was looking at nothing that could be matched in the antiquity of my own race. This was not a building, but a machine, protecting itself with forces that had challenged eternity. Those forces, whatever they might be, were still operating, and perhaps I'd already come too close. I thought of all the radiations man had trapped and tamed in the past century. For all I knew, I might be as irrevocably doomed as if I had stepped into the deadly silent aura of an unshielded atomic pile. I remember turning then toward Garnett, who had joined me and was now standing motionless at my side. He seemed quite oblivious to me, so I did not disturb, but walked to the edge of the cliff in an effort to marshal my thoughts. There below me lay the Mar Crisium Sea of Crises. Indeed strange and weird to most men, but reassuringly familiar to me. I lifted my eyes toward the crescent earth, lying in her cradle of stars, and I wondered what her clouds had covered when these unknown builders had finished their work. Was it the steaming jungle of the Carboniferous, the bleak shoreline over which the first amphibians must crawl to conquer the land? Or, earlier still, the long loneliness before the coming of life? Do not ask me why I did not suggest the truth sooner. The truth that seems so obvious now. In the first excitement of my discovery, I had assumed without question that this crystalline apparition had been built by some race belonging to the moon's remote past. But suddenly, and with overwhelming force, the belief came to me that it was as alien to the moon as I myself. In 20 years we had found no trace of life, but a few degenerate plants. No lunar civilization. Whatever doom could have left but a single token of its existence. I looked at the shining pyramid again, and the more remote it seemed from anything that had to do with the moon. And suddenly, I felt myself shaking with a foolish, hysterical laughter brought on by excitement and overexertion, for I had imagined that the little pyramid was speaking to me and was saying, "Sorry, I'm a stranger here myself." It has taken us 20 years to crack that invisible shield and to reach the machine inside those crystal walls. What we could not understand, we broke at last with the savage might of atomic power. And now, I have seen the fragments of the lovely, glittering thing I found up there on the mountain. They are meaningless. The mechanisms, if indeed they are mechanisms, of the pyramid belong to a technology that lies far beyond our horizon, perhaps to a technology of paraphysical forces. The mystery haunts us all the more now that the other planets have been reached, and we know that only Earth has ever been home of intelligent life in our universe. Nor could any lost civilization of our own world have built that machine, for the thickness of the meteoric dust on the plateaus has enabled us to measure its age. It was set there upon its mountain before life had emerged from the seas of Earth. When our world was half its present age, something from the stars swept through the solar system, left its token of its passage, and went again upon its way. Until we destroyed it, that machine was still fulfilling the purpose of its builders. And as to that purpose, here is my guess. Nearly 100,000 million stars are turning in the circle of the Milky Way, and long ago other races on the worlds of other suns must have scaled and passed the heights that we have reached. Think of such civilizations. Far back in time, against the fading afterglow of creation, masters of a universe so young that life, as yet, had come only to a handful of worlds. Theirs would have been a loneliness we cannot imagine. The loneliness of gods, looking out across infinity, and finding none to share their thoughts. They must have searched the star clusters as we have searched the planets. Everywhere there would be worlds, but they would be empty, or peopled with crawling, mindless things. Such was our own Earth, the smoke of the great volcanoes still staining the skies, when that first ship of the peoples of the dawn came sliding in front the abyss beyond Pluto. It passed the frozen outer worlds, knowing that life could play no part in their destinies. It came to rest among the inner planets, warming themselves around the fire of the sun and waiting for their stories to begin. Those wanderers must have looked on Earth, circling safely in the narrow zone between fire and ice, and must have guessed that it was the favorite of the sun's children. Here, in the distant future, would be intelligence, but there were countless stars before, and they might never come this way again. So, they left a sentinel, one of millions they have scattered throughout the universe, watching over all worlds with the promise of life. It was a beacon that down the ages has been patiently signaling the fact that no one had discovered it. Perhaps you understand now why the crystal pyramid was set upon the moon instead of on the earth. Its builders were not concerned with races still struggling from savagery. They would be interested in our civilization only if we proved our fitness to survive, by crossing space, and so escaping from Earth, our cradle. That is the challenge that all intelligent races must meet sooner or later. It is a double challenge, for it depends in turn upon the conquest of atomic energy and the last choice between life and death. Once we had passed that crisis, it was only a matter of time before we found the pyramid and forced it open. Now its signals have ceased, and those whose duty it is will be turning their minds upon Earth. Perhaps they wish to help our infant civilization, but they must be very, very old. And the old are often insanely jealous of the young. I can never look now at the Milky Way without wondering from which of those banked clouds of stars the emissaries are coming. If you will pardon so commonplace a simile, we have set off the fire alarm and have nothing to do but to wait. I do not think we will have to wait for long. That was a good story. Dude, heck, dude. I don't know, like, for a little bit there, I expected that maybe it was like The Martian, where it would simply just kind of have an account of kind of what moon travel will be like eventually, or moon exploration would be like. But I'm glad that its telling of aliens was so subtle, and from such a human perspective, right? So good. Sorry, let me catch up with chat. Doing alright. How about you? Doing fine enough. You? Oh, and Cramples. You know what's SCP? It stands for Secure Containment Protect. Or Secure Contain Protect. It's like case files for monsters and other paranormal stuff in a way that makes it seem like a real foundation. Ooh, thanks. That makes sense. That sounds pretty cool, not gonna lie. It definitely is. Yeah, I'm sad you missed, I don't know, one of my personal favorites, the IKEA one, or the infinite IKEA one. Thank you. Were you here for some of the SCPs, or did you mean, Sentinel, the story we just read? Dude, it had such a human perspective. I don't know, I feel like any good sci-fi story, even if it has, even if it has to do with aliens, it needs to come from a human perspective to really cause it an impact. I feel like it's best for it to. I don't know, but there are like sci-fi stories, it's a show, but like Star Trek, right, where there are other aliens, and it's kind of like, but I feel like even in those, the other aliens are so human-like, it's still kind of, I don't know, it still kind of gets at the same thing. It is pretty good. Yeah, I'm down to read another. The one you read was really good. At least what I heard. Well, thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't sure if I was feeling it at the start. My voice has been like kind of waning today, or tonight. Yeah, like Star Wars too. My voice has been a little waning today, but I feel like towards like a third of the way through, I started to get into it more and perform a little bit better. But that's just my opinion on it. Heck yeah. But I'm happy with that performance. And I'm happy with that story. Dang. Oh man, my tea is cold. It's like an iced tea now. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, I've kind of it's funny cuz I've developed a reading voice, right? Like one that I kind of default to. And I really hope that it's like I don't know, I've been making strong efforts to make sure it's a calming yet intriguing one, you know? Like I think I take inspiration from like Michael Caine and like, you know, the old chaps out there who you know, like just have that like rasp, that gentle rasp to their voice that just makes it, I don't know, so freaking pleasant. Oh, thank you. Sick. A rad voice, you know, dude. Well, heck yeah, let's go ahead and jump back over to the SCPs. Let's check out another one that I had brought up. Dude, you know, I want to do bees. I'm sorry, guys. You guys get no say in this. We're doing bees. Okay, guys, are you ready for this? This one seems ridiculous. Forward. The following document consists of a diary of redacted, currently SCP, redacted. Upon recovery, the entire cover of the diary had been covered in black permanent marker, with the exception of several areas arranged into the shape of a stylized bee. Here, each page is listed separately. March 17th. Today I bought this artsy notebook thing because I thought the cashier at Reducted was cute. Okay? $30 down the fucking drain. Right there. Also, my uncle's inheritance finally got sorted out. There wasn't a bunch of money, but I did get a fuck ton of his stuff afterwards. So much old stuff. Fucking nostalgia. Irrelevant monologue removed. March 20th. Still no word from Redacted, but it does turn out she has a twin sister. So yeah. Weird thing happened when I was looking through Uncle Redacted stuff. Redacted. And out of nowhere, I get this stinging stuff up and down my arm. When I looked, there were like 5 puncture marks on my arm. What the fuck? And no sign of anything that could sting me. But I bought a bottle of Raid just in case. March 21st. A note to self. Find out what that buzzing is. I hate it when you can just barely make out a sound. Like that time with the smoke detector. The super came over and claimed he couldn't hear anything. Cheap fuck just doesn't want to have to fix anything. Probably because... that would require walking up the stairs. The remainder of the page is filled with a drawing of an extremely rotund man, most likely redacted, the superintendent of Mr. Redactorino's building. He appears to be eating several sub-sandwiches while exclaiming, "I'm just big boned, yo." Notably, he also appears to be wearing a bumblebee costume. March 22nd. Irrelevant monologue removed. On a side note, I watched a thing in the news today about bees. Apparently, a bunch of them are disappearing, and nobody knows why. And now fruit and stuff isn't getting pollinated, implying anybody eats fruit. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. But the whole thing is sticking with me somehow. A lot. Bees. I'm so crazy. Buzzing isn't gone yet. If anything, it's louder. The exterminator couldn't hear anything either. And I got another prick on my arm when I was digging through the cupboard. Either these are coincidences, or I'm being paranoid. Ugh. March 23rd. I've heard of yellow snow, but I wasn't aware that there are entire storms of yellow and black snow. What the fuck? Does that even work? What? Good thing I got some booze before it hit, because I think the power's out. Party hard. Why the shit did I move here? What if bees could come out of a hypothetical situation? 9 pages appear to have been removed with scissors. What if bees were intolerant of hornets? What if bees were made of smaller bees? What if bees were made out of bigger bees? What if you picked up a phone and instead of a phone, it was bees? What if there was a photo of bees? What if there was a bunch of bees on a plane? What if the dinosaurs were killed by bees? What if the dinosaurs were bees? What if your Facebook becomes infested with bees? What if bees hacked your Facebook? What if someone wrote on your wall about bees? What if cats vomited bees? What if bees could travel through paintings? What if bees was a science and was subject to bee review? What if bees are contagious? What if there was a bee gun? What if you forgot how to reload the bee gun? What if the computer monitor could produce bees? What if bees start demanding civil rights? What if the Magna Carta has been bees the whole time? What if rabbits swore allegiance to the bees? What if Chinese bees? What if millennial bees? What if bees were 4-dimensional? What if bees were time travelers? What if time travel turns you into bees? What if time travel requires bees? What if you could replace explosions with bees? What if instead of movies, there was bees? What if you could buy bees on the black market? What if bees are accepted as payment in Hawaii? What if instead of throwing beads on Mardi Gras, you threw bees? What if bees wrote a travelogue? What if the travelogue was just bees? What if you eloped with bees? What if you served refreshments to bees? What if someone mentions bees? What if bees formed a religion? What if that religion involved clockwork bees? What if bees had a polite disagreement? What if bees were paid to rake leaves? What if bees were in the guise of a tundra? What if bees are taking over your dreams? What if you controlled bees with your dreams? What if fictional characters happen to be bees? What if bees were aliens? What if bees come from the bee layer beneath the earth? What if bees could blow people up with the blink of an eye? What if bees were a superhero? What if you could mail order bees? What if the store has a sale on bees? What if the bees had a gay pride parade? What if bees went to the parade with no clothes? What if they intentionally paved over bees? What if I accidentally bees? What if bees could live in any hollow area? What if bees were secret agents? What if you and bees had highly different taste in music? What if plants danced to attract bees? What if bees swarmed around and stung people? What if bees are just mad because someone cut them off in traffic? What if bees could disrupt your Wi-Fi? What if bees were replaced with a numerical code? What if bees resembled bees? What if bees resembled different bees? What if bees were exactly like the movie? What if bees used magic to become good at dabbing? What if each anime was a different color of bee? What if bees were nocturnal and sucked blood? What if bees were werewolves and were sworn enemies? What if dogs were unable to perceive bees? What if bees had subwoofers? What if nobody realized that the bees had an evil plan? What if bees were censored by the government? What if transition metals reacted with bees? What if bees framed a politician for larceny? What if bees had ties to an organized crime? What if bees unwittingly morphed into bricks during the full moon? What if someone wrote a book about bees? What if bees were computer illiterate? What if I'm bees? What if bees misread directions and killed a lemon tree? What if bees were an accurate description of the concept of the assembly line? What if Willy Wonka was prepared for bees? What if bees had fetishes? What if bees could vibrate through walls and discern motives? What if bees were put on the no-fly list? Wait a second. They have wings and no-fly. But if they're on the no-fly list? What if bees were mistaken for a Russian psyop? What if bees overran a mental institution? What if bees had daydreams about becoming lemurs? What if there was a wiki about bees? What if Wikipedia was bees? What if bees killed me? The remainder of the last page is an illustration from numerous black specks attacking a stick figure in a room resembling SCP-redacted apartment. The furniture and background also appear to be made out of small circles, similar to those attacking the stick figure. Almost all of the blank space in the illustration has been filled with what are either stylized lightning bolts or the letter Z. I locked the door. March 30... April? I don't recall. Try again later. Bees. Bees! I ran out of aloe vera. Have to use mouthwash. Surprisingly effective, but it still doesn't help with the bleeding. Redacted called and we set up a date for 8 p.m. Thursday, which was 2 hours ago. I'm surprised she could hear me over the buzzing. Oh, and the phone was Bees. Tuesday. B in hexadecimal is 1646 in decimal form. My favorite number. Who'd have thunk it? Data expunged. I don't know why I wrote that. I'm not schizo or anything. Disregard. The Godfather's on. I think I caught it partway through. Where the guy finds bees in his bed. Look at the TV. TV is bees. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. A number of small oval shapes are missing from the paper. Small amounts of pollen were found near the edge. I tried writing, but then the paper was bees. I'm going to drink a bottle of whiskey and go to bed. What the hell? Bees do not go there! The following page was covered entirely in crushed bees and human blood upon recovery. Removal of the aforementioned tissue revealed that the following had been written on the page. Redacted came over today, and she screamed because of the bees. Now she is bees. I wonder why I'm not bees. Maybe I am? Do bees know they are bees? Yellow. Bring it. March 17th. The snow is mostly gone. And look at the pavement. Pavement is mostly not bees. And I'm going to head over to the hospital. See if I can get this mole looked at. Bees followed me into the car and cut the brakes. God, I might be high. Good thing it was only another mile to the hospital. Shut up, bees. I'm writing in my journal. Go to the hospital. Hospital is bees. Already? How? I just got here. No, wait. It's just my glasses. My glasses were definitely bees. I didn't schedule an appointment or anything, but the nurse called a panic team, or whatever it is, and they ran me to a doctor. How thoughtful. But it's really not an emergency. I really just need them to look at a mole, except that mole is bees. The doctors looked at me and said they didn't see anything wrong. Well, of course there's nothing wrong, except the bees and the bleeding, and that's to be expected from bee stings. They argued for a while. And then they sent me away. March 119. I forgot to mention that the bees were eating the doctor. The others were screaming about it for a while. But when bees finished it, they calmed down a lot and signed me out. I'm done. Nope. 30 pages are missing. I am bees. The remaining pages are blank. Conclusion. To date, this remains the most accurate account of incident redacted, despite its inconsistencies. SCP Redacted 3 has no recollection of writing in any form of diary, although the handwriting, personal knowledge, and writing style are consistent with those of Redacted Redactorino. Personnel assigned to containment of SCP Redacted are to read this document in its entirety. In the situation that the diary is bees, a modified document will be provided. Footnotes. Records do not indicate any unusual weather patterns in Redacted. On the date in question, no television was found in Mr. Redacted's apartment, although a remote control was found. While the remainder of the diary is written in pencil, this appears to have been scratched into the paper. Bees. Frickin' bees. You wouldn't understand why it became bees even if you listened to the first part, dude. Don't worry about it. That one was fun to read through. I hope it was as entertaining to listen to as it was to read. Chat is bees. Chat is bees. Get me out of here, dude. The stream is bees. My glasses are becoming a little... You're joking, right? My glasses... They were definitely bees at one point. But are they bees now? They could be bees, but I feel like they weren't just a moment ago. If they weren't bees before, then how could they be bees now? But if I'm... Could the glasses being bees turn me into bees? If chat is bees and they're sending signals at me, could that turn me into bees? Could that have turned the glasses into bees? I am bees. Alright, dudes, I'm done. I'm done with the bees. Let's get off this frickin' page. Aw, dude, I wish you were still beans as well. So we'll probably read one more thing for the night and then call it quits. Which one are you guys thinking? SCP or normal story? Nom 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 nom. I hope my tea is not bees. That would suck. I just googled SCP-69. Oh boy. Oh boy. We can replace the bees one with that. 69, baby! Oh. SCP, RW and Incident Report 69. Oh, what? Is there an SCP-69? SCP-069. Uh-huh. Is this really the one that we want to be the last of the night? Cause I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it, but I just want to get a poll here. It definitely could be. Or it's short. I guess we could maybe do 2 if we do this one. Sounds a little funny. 2006. That was an interesting year. I was about 8 years old. I think I moved to NC that year. That's your favorite one? You don't remember many that well? 2008. SCP 2008. Okay, these are both pretty short. I am interested in Wowee, go kill yourself. It's also relatively short. But that's one of the tales. 2006. Oh, frig. Yeah, sorry. I just completely misread that. Blech. Bleh. Oh, 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 ah. This is such a good. This is so good. Look at this. Give me this image. Give me this image right now. Where was it put? Desktop? Wait, what? Where did it save to? Oh no. Where did I save it to? Guys, I have no idea where I saved it to. That's alright, we'll worry about it later. Dude, this guy is so good. Well, let's read about him. What the classes mean? I do not. That'd probably be worth looking into. I am not a seasoned SCP reader. If any of you guys know, I would really love to know. Item number SCP-2006. Object class Keter. Special containment procedures. SCP-2006 is to be contained at Site-118 in an airtight containment cell. SCP-2006 must be contained, monitored for changes in form, which are to be noted immediately. All personnel coming into contact with SCP-2006 are required to enroll in an acting course with a focus on expressing fear and surprise. Every month, SCP-2006 is to be shown at least one new extremely low-quality horror or science fiction movie containing horror elements. All interactions with 2006 must confirm that 2006 continues to believe that said works demonstrate a superb grasp of horror. Shoot, guys, I'm about to like pee in my trousers, so I'm gonna go real quick. This won't be like a normal long break, but I'll be back very, very soon. BRB, don't go nowhere. What do I give? How do I live in this life of ours? All I know is that I take plenty from here under the stars. I won't revive, I won't relive. I
accept what I've done and I forgive. What do I give? How do I live in this life of ours? All I know is that I take plenty from here under the stars. I won't revive, I won't relive. I accept what I've done and I forgive. What do I give? How do I live in this life of ours? All I know is that I take plenty from here under the stars. I won't revive, I won't relive. I accept what I've done and I forgive. Nebulous days lead me to ravenous haze. Nebulous days lead me to ravenous haze, which will block my gaze. Illusory ways make feelings that don't stay. In and out they face. Is it always that? My tangible wishes are just out of reach. Nebulous days lead me to ravenous haze, which will block my gaze. Illusory ways make feelings that don't stay. In and out they face. Is it always that? My intangible wishes are just out of reach.
やれやれ。退屈だと言って何も行動せず、刺激を求める割には挑戦しない。
Feelings don't stay. Feelings don't stay. Feelings don't stay.
いいかい、埼玉市。人生は当てのない旅だ。新しい景色を見るためには自分で道を切り開くしかないんだ。
Yeah, wow, 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 wow. Is it always that? Is it always that? My intangible wishes are just out of reach. Just out of reach. Is it always that? Is it always that? Bow, bow. All right. Heck yeah. All right. That's definitely a favorite that I've created. I made that with an artist named Someone Cursed Me. He makes some pretty nice like lo-fi stuff. That actually has like, you know, significant bass to it and whatnot. Just pretty nice. Very easily jammable. Heck yeah. Alright, back to this little goober. Oh no, he is blue now. He is blue. Dabu dee dabu die. Oh, whoops. I forgot to turn on the sci-fi ambience. Alright, so what's up with him needing to think that bad horror is actually superb? So, 2006 is an anomalous spherical entity, roughly 50 meters in diameter, when it is in default state. 2006's stated goal is to cause feelings of fear and or horror in as many humans as possible. To accomplish this purpose, 2006 possesses the ability to change its shape, mass, volume, density, chemical structure, and voice to any form that it desires. Currently, there is no known way to damage 2006.
The extent of its shape-shifting abilities is unknown, and is currently thought to be unlimited. Currently, 2006 has demonstrated a fondness for taking the forms of various entities and villains from the various horror and science fiction movies that it has witnessed. The most common form that 2006 has taken is that of Ro-Man, from the 1953 movie Robot Monster. 2006 is capable of speaking even when it possesses the form of an entity that is normally unable to speak. 2006 will generally attempt to startle and or scare any individual it comes into contact with, but after doing so, will become affable and friendly. The reason behind this is currently unknown. Although 2006 has repeatedly stated its goal of causing as much fear as possible, 2006 is a poor judge of concepts that cause fear in humans, and constantly searches for new methods in which to accomplish its goal. This poor recognition extends to recognition of emotions in humans, as 2006 is incapable of distinguishing between subtle differences in emotion that would be obvious to a human. This is really good. Addendum. The current site director for Site 118 has issued the following memorandum regarding SCP-2006. I have been getting reports of some of the lax behavior regarding 2006. Many personnel have been heard laughing at 2006 during surveillance when it watches a new movie, or when it attempts to scare individuals. Some personnel have been heard questioning why 2006 is classified as a Keter entity. I am here to remind you that a Keter entity is a Keter entity, regardless of how innocuous it may seem. No SCP-006 is not a rampaging demigod, nor is it a regenerating super lizard. However, it possesses the same level of danger as any other Keter that the Foundation has contained. Think of the SCP-2006's purpose. It wishes to scare people. Imagine what would happen if SCP-2006 broke containment and found out what really scared people. Imagine if it saw the horror and fear of war, or the concepts of paranoia or phobias common to each and every human being. Imagine if it found the true horror of a nuclear holocaust, or an XK-class scenario. No. Couple that with an entity that possesses shape-shifting abilities with no known limits, and you'll understand why it's classified as a Keter. All personnel mentioned above have been suitably disciplined. I do not want to hear about this again. Dr. Rendell Owings, Site 118 Director. Who? But come on, it's funny. Dude, Owings is a buzzkill if I ever heard one. Oh yeah, dude, and holler back at 682 over here. So Keter monsters, I guess, are ones that have like unknown limits, right? Or have he's a funny little guy. Heck yeah. Yeah, dude, I get why he's a buzzkill too. I mean, there's rules for a reason, and it is classified as a Keter for a reason. What scares me? Let me think about that. Hang on. I know drowning has been a fear of mine for a long time. It's what's caused like various like athletic asthma attacks and junk in water. Because I've had athletic asthma in the past, it specifically like flared up in water, even worse in cold water. So ever since I was little, I was quite afraid of the idea of drowning. I know it's one of like the less bad ways to die, but still it's fearsome, or it's fear-inducing. I also, much like everyone else, I fear the unknown. You know, whatever's out of my control, there's a sense of fear there. I also fear talking to girls. At the very least, it it brings me anxiety, or at least girls that I am quite attracted to. I fear girls in general. Their species confuddles me. Yes, burning is pretty horrifying too. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I would say I would fear if I woke up and my house was on fire. That would be scary. Or have you guys seen Wacko? The series Wacko? And if you haven't, do you care about spoilers? Because I don't know what it is. Anyway, I won't like spoil the actual series, but by the end of the series, there is a scene where a big house with a lot of people in it is burning to the ground due to something the government did. And there were some people that were locked in like the refrigerator, like, and it's one of those big refrigerators where it has like a big metal door and it like locks in super airtight, shuts off like super badly. Or yeah, like, well, yeah, it shuts off very firmly. And while the building was burning, you know, part of it collapsed and blocked the door very intensely. And so they had put all the women and children into that refrigerator room. They all suffocated to death. That's terrifying. Also, yeah, I would say like not even necessarily like the idea of dying in a horrible way, but what's worse than that would be watching my child. Like if I ever have a child, if I had to watch my child die in front of me, suffocate or be tortured otherwise, that's probably something I would fear. Sorry, that was a bit dark, but hey, you did ask what I fear. Or just, you know, loved ones in general, seeing them harmed in horrific ways or losing them is a very fear-inducing thing. Am I scared of dying in general? You know, it's not something that I worry about all day long. But if I think about the concept of death, it brings up anxiety, certainly. Yeah, I get that. If anything comes next. That's where the kicker gets me. That's too, I don't know, scary. You said it, May. Like, what if it's boring in an endless black void or something? Like eternal slumber, but with no dreams. What if it's like that Junji Ito comic, where you're just sliding, through a void, unable to move, slowly being pulled apart, and then you reform and do it all again over centuries. You don't feel anything when you think of it? Interesting. I would say like it's much easier to approach now than it used to be. For instance, you know, if I like even after this kind of conversation in the past, I would be quite phased. You know, I would the rest of my night would be filled with other thoughts along these lines. You know, and it would bring me down and bog me down for a while. But nowadays, it's easier for me to tackle it. You know, and cope with it. So I wouldn't say I feel nothing, but I'm able to cope with the emotions that come up because of it. I would even argue that feeling nothing is worse than what I do. You know, not feeling anything at all. I don't know, man. That's my own personal opinion, but do you understand? That's true. And it's a place that if anybody does go there, they do not return. Unlike Infinite IKEA. Yeah. Uncertain. And very out of our control. I think it's just like it's gonna come. I think it's just like it's gonna come no matter what. When I get there, who knows? Well, you know, I'd argue that that's how you cope with it, you know? Like, I'm sure you've at one point felt like the existential dread that comes from thinking about death. Every human has. But I think your way of coping with it is perfectly suitable and seems to work for you. I don't like uncertainty and not knowing what's next. That's the reason why I don't like future, though. It's so uncertain. Yeah, dude, they call it, I don't know. I've heard it called future tripping. Where, yeah, that, and you know, it's wrapped up in that fear of the unknown. We don't know what's gonna come for certain. Which is why we can only take steps. We can only take the steps that are in front of us to reach wherever it is we want to go. Everything just stays on Mitch's stream in this moment. It must be cool that way. No more future, only Mitch. Yes, yes. Only me. Me forever scrolling slowly on a monitor. Ha 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 ha. This is your life now. Welcome to Mitch World. Just kidding. It's actually Mitch and Skippy World. Skippy in a jar world. I think I'm too worried about what's gonna happen when I'm alive that I can't really think of what comes after. Yeah, dude. I get that, man. And honestly, that's a good way to go about it, in my opinion. Like, it's neat to, like, it's a neat thing to approach, like, what comes next after this life, but it doesn't really go anywhere most of the time, you know? So I find it better, yeah, to deal with what the heck's going on, like, in current life first. What if life is a simulation, and when we die, they say, your free trial is up? Like it's WoW with the level cap. I've heard the simulation thing before, but I haven't heard the your trial is up. There's just a big, like, massive text in front of you. It says your trial is up. You have, like, various points remaining. That would be so nice. Mitch, Skippy, Cramples, and Toko U World. And that would be a great way to end life, not gonna lie. Sure, dude. That's a ridiculous... sorry, not ridiculous. That's an immense compliment. Thank you. The stream did get deep. Dude, it's them deep hours, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the only... I feel like I have these conversations primarily, like, near or after midnight. Stream got deep. You could even say under the sea. Under the sea. Where life is wetter. Darling, it's better. Under the sea. Out in the sun, they will slave away. Do the work all day. You're welcome. That's the only time you can have them. Yeah, man, I get that. Thank goodness I got the tea out of the way. It tasted great, but it was cold tea. Chug the tea. Dude, party hard, bro. Drink so much tea tonight, dude. I'll drink so much tea. Are you guys drinking tea along with me? I hope so. Big sip. Well, okay, guys. I think we're gonna start moseying towards the end of stream here. I drank tea earlier, but I couldn't bring it upstairs. What? You can't bring... What? But why? But why? But why? Big water. Yeah, dude, I have so much tea in this house. I just have not been drinking it. So I'm grateful that I've started. And I have the easiest means to make it too. It's one of those like electronic kettles where you just fill it with water, you click a little switch, and that's it. Throw the tea bag in there, wait till it's done, pour the water. Done and done. Maybe add some honey, maybe add some brown sugar, add some creamer if it's a breakfast tea. Good stuff. You have a question for chat? Question away. They probably do have an answer. I'll let them answer. I don't know. I feel like that's not my information to give. Cool. Yeah, and I don't know. I was waiting for them to say so, but I can confirm. They are indeed of the male gender. Okay, guys. I'm going to start wrapping up. This has been an incredible stream. Before we go, I definitely want to ask, what was your favorite part of the stream? Was it towards the beginning where we kind of just had a chat and hung out? And I got some donations, which was freaking wild and wacky and awesome all at the same time. Or was it, the first of the SCPs that we read? Was it the Infinite IKEA, or was it the Unstoppable Reptilian Blob, or was it Sentinel by Arthur C. Clarke, or was it 2006 here? This guy, I can't believe I've actually sorry, I need him on screen right now. I need him on screen. There we go. Much better. IKEA, 006, all of it, man. My favorite part was seeing the funny 69 number. Yes, it is because of the intercourse that is represented by the number. You see, because the 9 is on the and you know, because they. That's all. All again. All. dang guys, I immensely appreciate the support, and I especially appreciate how active you guys are in chat. Even when it's just like our small little gang, um, it's just really cool to be with you guys and get to do something that I love and appreciate so much, and be able to share it with you. It's super, super cool time. Very rad. Very rad. What was my favorite part? It might be this picture. It could very well be this picture. No, I think it was probably the start of it. It was just really nice. We wound up getting a fair amount of folks in here chatting. And it even like wound up distracting me from what I was even here intending to do. Had some really good talks about like film and film theory and all that junk. But I would say also this ending part too. As much as I appreciate, an intelligent conversation about like things we're interested in, I also appreciate just as much a deep conversation about important topics. I don't believe so. I don't believe we know each other IRL. I believe it's because I know Tokoyu and Kramples. Heck yeah, great stream. Nice. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back. Be on my merry way. Alright, cool beans, guys. Gonna pause the sci-fi lab ambience. I'll be returning to space, I'll be returning to space. I'll be returning to Earth. Afterwards, I got a long space travel ahead of me. We fly through the night. And yeah, I'll probably be pretty jet lagged tomorrow. But hey, that happens. Yeah, they know me. Yeah, Kramples is the only one who's actually met me face to face. We even like went to school together for 1 year. Only 1 year though. we used to do musicals. That was a good time. Heck yeah, dude, we said the same thing. Heck yeah. Great minds think alike. It's shocking though. I don't know. I feel like a fair amount of streamers out there have like for instance like the Nightlight Caro, she said that she started streaming simply because like her friend wanted to watch. No, I think that happens like a fair amount where even if like a streamer isn't incredibly popular or whatever, their buddies or friends that they've known for a while or just friends of theirs will come in and hang out with them. Cause I think it's a fun time. Heck yeah, we are. Let's go D&D. Dude, I'm so excited for the music. You guys want a little taste? You guys want a little acapella taste of what the song's gonna be like? So the concept of it, right? My character is brittle dust. And the concept of it is gonna be that Brittle, when he was little, used to be sung to sleep by a song written by his grandmother, or his grandmama, as he would say. And his grandmama came up with this song soon after the sun disappeared and vanished, because she was always like into music and like to write little ditties. And so, Brittle carried that with him, and the idea for the intro is simply like he's at a tavern with his friends and the band that he's playing with, and gets up on stage and performs this song that his grandmama titled The Sky's Mistake. And yeah, it'll go something like this. Do they look back at us as we gaze at the stars? Don't they, or do they know how much we need their light now that we've lost ours? Don't they see how cold we are as darkness reigns in day? As darkness reigns in day, could there be someone down here who brings back golden rays? And there's a second verse and a verse for like the main like chorus. But that's what I'll leave you with. I also think I sung it in the wrong key. But regardless, that's what it's gonna be like, and I'm doing my best to try to sing it in Brittle's accent, which is actually going better than I thought it would. Not gonna lie. It's Brittle, little Brittle. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. I try hard when I sing. And I appreciate the applause. I think I'm pretty splendid at it too. My only thing is that my breath capacity is sometimes troublesome. I know that's what was giving me trouble today. Cause I, in writing the song, forgot to like take into account giving myself moments to breathe. So like the song is meant to just flow like straight from one thing to another without any breath whatsoever. And it is a difficult time. I've been able to like figure out like where I can sneak in breaths though, thankfully. Yeah. Yeah, Toko, you and I haven't met IRL yet. But we do live pretty close, yeah. And I hope to meet him. Heck yeah. I haven't really sung in a long time, so I really can't as well anymore. Unless it's ABBA. Yeah, dude, my initial idea, I really wished that I could get at least Tug to like sing some bass lines for me. I don't know about the others in the party. But I thought that would be cool if I could get at least one of the other party members to sing along. But sadly, we are pretty far away. And you don't have a condenser mic, right? Oh, dude, I look forward to it. Heck yeah, that'd be good. I'd enjoy that. Having Cramples and Toko you on? Heck yeah. Oh, I would need to, I don't know. You guys might have to come visit me? Maybe? I don't know, I could bring my whole stream setup, but that involves me bringing my entire like PC as well. Which it's a desktop, so it is a little bit hard or troublesome, but it could be done. It could be done. Oh yeah, and they are on stream on Thursdays. Yeah, not we don't have face cams for them and whatnot, but their voices are there. Guys, I'm excited for this Thursday too. Excited to jump into that Lancers campaign. I may, if I like put nose to the grindstone, I might be able to like write and get a Lancers theme done in time for that. But I don't know. Like I need to chat with you guys a little bit about like concepts. I need to ask you guys about like what your characters are. because I can only like base it off of my character's background at the moment. Cade would be a good one to talk to about that too. All right, guys, sick. Let's go ahead and close things out. We're nearing midnight. I definitely need to go to bed like in maybe 30 minutes to an hour, so I'm gonna take that time to cool off and relax and decompress from the stream. But this was quite a relaxing stream in general, though. I wanted to thank all of you for creating such a heartwarming environment and a place where I can practice my voice acting and feel comfortable doing it. Let me pull up the Unfold reprise. Alright, guys, as always, think of the merriment that we created this night. Find it all within yourself. Hold on to it tight and bring it into the next day. Stay merry, guys. I love you bunches. And I'll see you next time. Remember, tomorrow we start the next Percy Jackson book, The Titan's Curse. Hope to see you there. Much love. Bye, guys. Good night. Sleep tight.